Across the country right now, there are 7 Democrats running for the United States Senate in red states. And you better believe the Republicans are targeting everyone for defeat. There's only one Republican running for re-election in a state that Obama won, and that's here in Maine. And we're going to target her just as hard as they're targeting our members. And the person who's going to win that race is our next speaker, Shenna Bellows.
Chair, but he said no. Because I'm just off of my walk. We're at mile 233. We started 2 weeks ago in Holton, and we did a Google Hangout, and so people joined us from all over the state. And one person who joined us, I just want to recognize for a minute, was former Representative Paul McGowan. Join me on my walk across Maine, and just like a moment of silence for Representative Paul McGowan. And Paul was a good friend of mine before he entered the legislature, and he believed in this walk across Maine because this walk is about standing up for real people and grassroots and getting the big money out of our elections. And as I've been walking across the state, I've been hearing the stories of Mainers all across the state who would like to see change in Washington. And we have seen what has happened with Republican control of the House that Chellie and Mike have been fighting so hard against, and Emily will fight so hard against when she is there. We have seen attacks on women, attacks on workers, attacks on the environment. We need Democrats who will stand strong, who will stand up against those attacks. And if Republicans win control of the United States Senate this year, we can be sure that the last 2 years of Obama's presidency will be a nightmare. So Maine has an opportunity to expand the map, and we have an opportunity to expand the map for people in our communities who are struggling right now. People like a man that I met today, Brandon, my husband, who is here, and I walked this morning. We were walking through West Gardner, and a man came out of his house with 2 bottles of water. He said, I saw you a couple of miles back. I went down to the convenience store to get you some water. He said, I hear you're about jobs and the economy, and I want to tell you a story. He told me, on Thursday, my company called me, and in 5 minutes, they terminated me. I had been working at my company for 12 years, and in 5 minutes, my career was over. And he said there were hundreds of us who were laid off across the country, and the CEO just got a pay raise of 29%. And as he told me this story, his 2 daughters came out of the house kind of shyly and wanted to meet me. And I thought, that is why I'm walking across the state. That is why we need Democrats in control of the Congress and the legislature and the governorship to stand up for people like you. And someone said, what's your favorite place so far? Now, running for office, I don't have a favorite place. But I really love Mattawamkeag. In Mattawamkeag, they put on the sign in front of the town hall, come meet Shenna Bellows at 3 p.m. And 21 people, and maybe 5% of the population of Mattawamkeag did it. And I talked about how we need to increase Social Security and make sure that millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share by scrapping the cow. And afterward, a woman came up to me and she said, I'm living solely on Social Security, and my check doesn't always make it to the end of the month. She said, sometimes I put off getting my prescriptions filled. And she said, I haven't been doing home repairs. I figure my house won't fall down before I die. And carpenters don't do charity work, she said. And I thought about that for a minute, because if she had an increased Social Security benefit, then she could hire the carpenter in Mattawamkeag, who could bring home money for his family and grow the economy. This is what Democrats believe is lifting everyone up because it's a multiplier effect. We all benefit when the most vulnerable in our communities benefit. And my final story, I walked all the way down from Mattawampay, down Route 2, into Orono, Emily's hometown. And they had a huge house party for me. It was fabulous. Thank you, Orono Democrats. And there was a young woman from the University of Maine who had traveled 2 hours from her hometown to come to Orono to be at my house party. And she said, I'm supporting you because of my student loan debt burden. She said, Orono is better than many schools, but my student loans are enormous. She said, I've decided I can't follow my dreams. I can't go to medical school because I cannot afford it. And that is another reason that I'm running, because I, growing up in Hancock without electricity or running water, the daughter of a carpenter, my mother now a home health care nurse, you know, when I graduated from college, I had significant student loan debt, but nothing like our young people today are facing. And so I am running to stand up for Richard West Gardner, who lost his job on Thursday. I am running to stand up for the senior in Mattawampay. I'm running to stand up for the student in Orono, because we together, we Democrats, believe in a better future for the next generation. Said to me early on this race, it's too bad you're not running against Mitch McConnell. And I said, oh, I am. Because Susan's first vote would be for Mitch McConnell. Just like she voted for Alito and Roberts that brought us Citizens United. And if Republicans gain control, you can bet the House of Representatives will send another bill to defund Planned Parenthood. And remember 2 years ago when Olympia voted against that bill, Susan voted for it. And Susan voted against equal pay for equal work, and she voted against raising the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. So this election is much larger than me or Susan. It's about control of the United States Senate. It's about the future of our state and our country. And I like a tough challenge. At the beginning of this race, no one thought I would outrace Susan Collins in the first quarter. We would raise over $1 million and be able to be up on television starting in July. And some of the Republicans in the newspaper didn't think I could walk 350 miles across the state. So, we can win this race. Our target voter is a Barack Obama who voted for Barack and Chellie and Mike and Susan Collins in 2008. So I have one ask of you tonight, besides giving generously to the Maine Democratic Party before you go. Again, my ask of you is find your 5 friends. Find your 5 friends who voted for Barack Obama and Susan Collins in 2008 and talk to them about the stakes in this race. Talk to them about what this race means for the future of our children and our grandchildren. Thank you so very much.